Hey guys, John Rettinger from Techno Buffalo here with a full review for you of the Google Nexus One built by HTC. You've seen how Android 2.1 works, you've seen head-to-head videos with the iPhone, you've seen how live wallpapers function. I've sort of taken you through everything about the phone, but I haven't given you a full review on how it works as a phone and how the features sort of come together into a complete package. So before we get into all that, let's talk about some of the specs. It is a quad-band phone, meaning it'll work on an edge network really anywhere in the world you are. And if you're in the US, it'll work on AT&T or T-Mobile's edge network. However, it's only going to function on T-Mobile's 3G, so no 3G for AT&T. It weighs about 4.59 ounces. It's, of course, candy bar form factor. It's got a pretty substantial 1400 milliamp hour battery. With very excessive web usage and calling, I was able to get very easily a day and a half out of it. So if you charge your phone every night, you're never going to have battery issues with the Nexus One. I think the two big selling points of the device, first would probably be its display. It's OLED, it's 3.7 inches, and it just looks absolutely gorgeous with its 480 by 800 resolution screen. And the other really big feature of it is its processor. It is running a 1 GHz Snapdragon processor by Qualcomm, and you really see that processor. In a previous video, I did a network test with the Nexus One versus the iPhone, and we saw network speed-wise, at least where I am, AT&T's network speed was almost twice as fast as T-Mobile's 3G, but the faster processor in the Nexus One led to the Nexus One rendering pages a few seconds faster than the iPhone 3GS did. So that processor really can make up for a slower network and helps for page rendering and multitasking, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So first, this is a phone, and it's got to make good phone calls. I tested this on T-Mobile's network, and call quality, this is probably some of the best, crispest calls I have ever used on a cell phone. And if you guys watch my videos, you know I test a lot of cell phones. It was absolutely perfect call quality. It sounded like I was on a landline. People on the other end couldn't hear any sort of white noise. It was call quality, again, I can't rave enough about the call quality. And that wasn't just unique to T-Mobile. I thought maybe it sounded so good because of T-Mobile's network. So I popped in an AT&T card, and just on Edge, the call quality was just as good. So it really is just the phone and the radio, the combination of the software, works absolutely fantastically. So if you're worried about using this as a phone, don't. It is probably some of the best call quality. Speakerphone-wise, it was pretty average. It was loud enough to hear in a car, but not loud enough that you're going to DJ a party based just on the speaker. So let's talk about the operating system. This is running a sort of native build of Android 2.1. This is the first time that we've even seen Android 2.1. The previous newest version was on the Droid, and that was 2.0. And 2.1 brought with it some new features that I demonstrated in a 2.1 overview video. I'll put links to all those in the sidebar as well. It brought with it live wallpapers. It brought with it some 3D animations that you see here. Sort of scroll around, it brought a new gallery and a ton of other sort of cool features. But some of the things that I find most useful about 2.1 is the ability to jump from home screen to home screen. 2.1 also gives you the ability to have 5 home screens, and scrolling back and forth can be quite a bit of a pain. So if you hold down one of these little buttons, you get a deck of cards, sort of reminiscent of Palm WebOS. Click on one of them, and you jump right to that home screen. I'm admittedly not an Android user. I've tested many Android phones. The iPhone is my daily driver. But I have to say I've really enjoyed using Android 2.1. I first tested Android on the original T-Mobile G1, and it felt very raw, but you could see the operating system had a lot of potential. And I think with 2.1, we're starting to see that potential realized. And Android has become and matured into a fantastic operating system, and one that I would be happy and proud to use on a daily basis. It really offers a slew of fantastic features. It's got a growing app catalog. It's got multitasking. It's got, right here at the Nexus One, a gorgeous screen, and you can really choose from a variety of form factors. There's a ton of Android devices out there. However, the Nexus One is definitely the flagship, and I think everything comes together really nicely on the device. A few other things that make the phone really easy to use and navigate is the speech-to-text. Anywhere that there's a text field, and I demonstrated this again in a previous video, there's a little microphone, and you go ahead and tap that, and you can start talking, and it really goes ahead and translates any text that you're saying nice and easily, and it works very well. The on-screen keyboard also works very well. Autocorrect and features are just fantastic. and I found it to be just as easy to type on as any other on-screen keyboard. So if you're worried about the Nexus 1, the lack of a physical keyboard, if that's maybe what was drawing you to a Droid, don't worry, this one is really easy to get used to. And the fact that the screen is so large, when you turn this thing in portrait mode and start typing, it's just absolutely fantastic. I mean, the keyboard is huge while you're typing, and there's that little microphone I was talking about. Not a problem at all when it comes to typing. So one of the problems that I've had with the device, and this is really one of the small problems I've had, and you guys may have seen this happen in videos, is the responsiveness of these capacitive buttons down below. Oftentimes when I try and tap them, they don't always work. See right there, it took a few times. You have to sometimes hit it either with your thumb right in the middle, or really make sure that you make a permanent press. Sometimes it just doesn't work. So right here, if I just sort of tap it, it doesn't work, but if I go ahead and hit it hard, you'll see right there that it popped up. So it's not always, see right there, not always the most responsive. It's more of an annoyance. It's certainly nothing that would prevent me from buying the phone, but it's definitely something to keep in mind. And speaking of buying the phone, if you want to get this unlocked to use on the carrier of your choice, so you can use it on AT&T with just Edge, or pop in a T-Mobile card and you're off to go on their 3G network, it's going to run you a good $550. If you're a new T-Mobile customer, you can sign up for one and get subsidized down to $170, and there are some other pricing options sort of in between for upgrades. But you're going to run the gamut really as high as $550 or as low as $170. Now $550 is a really high price point, but I think that with the Nexus 1 you're getting probably one of the best smartphones out there on the market. It is absolutely fantastic. Now I mentioned that I'm an iPhone user, and I know there's going to be a lot of iPhone versus Nexus 1 comments, but I've gotten very used to multi-touch. I know a lot of you out there may have gotten used to multi-touch as well. And that is one feature that I really miss on the Nexus 1. That's having multi-touch in the browser. Now if you've been an Android user really for the past few years, you've never had multi-touch, then you're not going to be missing anything. However, if you're thinking about moving from an iPhone, it's definitely going to be a feature that you're really going to wish was there, whether you're browsing the web or using Google Maps. It's definitely something that I personally miss. Would it prevent me from buying this phone? Absolutely not. The raw processing speed and the beautiful display are more than enough to make up for the lack of multi-touch. Just something to keep in mind. This is probably one of my favorite phones that I've tested. I've really enjoyed using it. I could definitely envision using this on a daily basis. Everything on the phone just works well. Android has really come together and come into its own as a very, very viable smartphone alternative to, say, the iPhone, to BlackBerry, to Windows Mobile. With its full exchange support, it can also be a very powerful business device. So it can really run from being a teenage device to being a C-level executive. It's going to really sort anybody in there. Again, this is probably one of my favorite phones that I've tested. My three favorite phones that I've used got to be the iPhone 3GS, the Nexus 1, and the Palm Pre are definitely my three favorite. And I'd be happy to use any of those, and that says quite a bit. On a 1 to 5 scale, I give the Nexus 1 a very, 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 very strong 4.75, really taking off just a little bit for lack of multi-touch. If I had never been used to multi-touch, this would have been a 5-star review. I couldn't be happier with the phone. The size-wise, it's a big screen, but it's a really thin package. If you look how thin it is, I mean, it makes the iPhone look downright fat. I mean, just really thick phone. The camera, you saw I did a video on the camera quality as well. 5-megapixel sensor, takes great pictures. The video was really solid. The LED flash works quite well in sort of low light situations, but definitely not going to want to blow this up and put it on your wall. But for a cell phone, the camera and video quality is definitely among the best. And build quality, being an HTC device, is really strong. It just doesn't feel like it's going to break. It's got a really nice feel in the hand. And it feels good in your pocket as well. I've never used the trackball here. Phone could have very easily gone without it. I'm not necessarily sure why it was included, but if you like a trackball, you still have the option for another way to navigate. Really, my only complaints, again, would be the lack of multi-touch, which who knows why Google didn't include that. Some other Android devices have it, and these capacitive buttons. But at this point, that's really just nitpicking on an otherwise absolutely fantastic device. Again, I can't recommend the Nexus 1 enough if you're in the market for a new smartphone. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed. I'm John Rettinger, and I want to remind you again, for those of you that sat through this whole video and really waited another 9 minutes, the Shorty Awards are going on right now. I'd appreciate your support. Link will be in the sidebar if you want to cast your vote. For exclusive content, be sure to check me out at Twitter, twitter.com/John4Lakers. And for all of your tech news and to create your own tech blog and monetize it, make some money and meet some cool people, be sure to check out technobuffalo.com. John Rettinger, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.